38th out of 38. That's where one of the most popular small SUVs in this country finished in its class in the last big British reliability survey. Not out of 40. Last, dead last, on a car you can walk into a showroom and order this afternoon. That's the number that starts this off. It isn't the point of it. Here's the one thing to hold on to for the whole video, because it decides everything else. A warranty pays for the part. It never pays for your time. Every car on this list is still under some kind of cover. Nobody's getting handed a bill for a gearbox on a 2-year-old motor. What they're getting is 6 weeks in a courtesy car, a service desk that can't say when the part lands, a booking in November for a fault they reported in August. None of that shows up in the purchase price or the finance quote, and it's the thing that actually ruins the ownership. So we're not counting down the cars that break the most. We're counting down the ones that break in ways that eat your life while somebody else's warranty department has a think about it. 7 cars. All sold new in Britain, all right-hand drive, all on forecourts right now. And stay with me for number 4, because that's an engine fitted to millions of cars in this country, where the maker has already put the problem in writing and extended the warranty by a decade, and was still fitting it to brand new cars after they designed the fix. I'm Terry Halloran, and this is British Vehicles. No manufacturer pays us a penny, no press cars, and we don't sell cars. Everything here comes from published data, and we'll tell you which is which. Do me a favor before we start. Hit subscribe. It's free and it costs you nothing, and this is the sort of thing that stops a mate signing for something daft on a Saturday morning. Right, where this comes from. The what car? Reliability survey, the big one. 32,493 owners, 227 models, 30 brands. And it's the right survey here because of what it asks. Not just did it go wrong, how much did it cost you, and how long was the car off the road? Then the Honest John Satisfaction Index, owners scoring their own motors. The which? Survey, 63,000 drivers, faults weighted by how serious they were. The Warranty-Wise Index, built from 1.6 million actual repair records rather than opinions. And the DVSA recall checker on gov.uk, which is free and takes 30 seconds. Now the honest part, Britain doesn't publish how many of any model are sat unsold on forecourts, so anyone quoting you that number for the UK has made it up. And we're not touching American reliability surveys. They survey American owners running American engines, and half the cars in them aren't sold here at all. One more. Some of these results cover the outgoing generation of a car that's still on sale. Where that's the case, we'll say so. Number 7, the Lexus LBX. This one's here to make a point, and the point is that nobody's safe. Concession first because it's a big one. Lexus is genuinely one of the best brands in this country, and in the same survey we're using, the RX came out as the most reliable luxury car on sale. That's owners filling in a form, not a press release. Same survey knocked Lexus down the brand table, and it was the LBX that did it. Persistent battery problems on the newest, smallest car in the range. Here's the mechanism, and it's behind a huge chunk of the won't start calls in this country now. A hybrid hasn't got an alternator. The 12-volt battery, the one that wakes the car up, runs the locks, the screens, the alarm, gets topped up from the big hybrid pack, and only while the car's actually switched on. So park it a week, then do 3 school runs where it's on for 6 minutes at a time, with the alarm drawing the whole while. A small hybrid living in town never gives that 12-volt system a proper charge. Symptoms identical every time. Nothing wrong with the car. It just won't wake up on a damp Tuesday morning. Money's fine. Under 40 grand, so it's the standard 200 a year in road tax and no supplement. Your Tuesday is not fine. That's the rule. First time, and gently. Number 6. The Vauxhall Corsa. Best-selling small car in Britain for years. First car for half the country. Cheap to insure, cheap to run, everywhere. And in the Honest John Satisfaction Index, it came out as the least reliable car in the country, roughly one owner in 5 reporting a reason to question it. It finished last for overall ownership satisfaction too. Same car, bottom on both. Here's why that stings more than a Bentley scoring badly. A Corsa is what you buy when you haven't got a spare $2,000. The people least able to absorb a surprise bill are the ones most likely to get one. And here's a mechanism that now applies to nearly every small car. Your car isn't one computer. It's dozens of little ones. Doors, lights, screen, sensors, all chattering over a couple of wires, and all woken up every time the stop-start kills the engine at a junction. In town, that's every 90 seconds. The 12-volt battery holding that up is barely bigger than when a car had a radio and a heater. Come the first cold week of the year, voltage sags, and perfectly healthy modules start reporting faults that aren't faults. Symptom: a fault that won't reproduce at the garage. Worst kind there is, because now you're making trips for nothing. The engine side we're doing at number 4. But hold this thought. The Corsa's running gear comes from the same group as another car on this list. The badge changes, the engine doesn't. $200 a year to tax. Nothing to pay, and 3 afternoons gone. That's the rule again. Number 5. The Nissan Juke. Here's your 38th out of 38 from the top of the video. The current Juke, on sale since 2019, finished last in its class in the What car? Reliability survey. 38th out of 38 small SUVs on 55.2%. Nissan as a brand came 29th out of 30. Only MG was lower. Concession. It's a genuinely nice small car to sit in. The 3-cylinder is smoother than it's got any right to be, and the manual is the pick of them. The mechanism is the automatic. Nissan replaced the old CVT with a 7-speed dual clutch. 2 manual gearboxes side by side, one doing odds, one doing evens, so the next gear's already lined up. Brilliant on a moving car. Not brilliant at 3 miles an hour. At crawling speed there's no momentum to hide behind. The clutch has to slip to get you going. A clutch pack that spends its life slipping gets hot, and hot clutch material wears. So it hesitates. You ask for the gap, nothing happens, then it lurches. You'll know it instantly. Pulling out of a side road you press. It thinks about it, then it goes. Same in reverse on a driveway. And here's the bit that matters for our rule. The Juke's warranty from new is 3 years or 60,000 miles. That's ordinary. Renault and Hyundai give you 5, Kia gives you 7. So a Juke owner has the shortest window of the lot in which somebody else pays. And even inside it, it only ever pays for the part. $200 a year to tax, no supplement. Number 4. The Peugeot 3008, and really, the engine in it. This is the one I flagged at the top, and it's the best example in Britain of a manufacturer telling you the truth in writing while the cars kept rolling out the door. The PureTech petrol, 1 litre and 1.2, 3 cylinders, engine code EB2, fitted across Peugeot, Citroën, Vauxhall and DS, millions of them. It won Engine of the Year awards repeatedly, and on paper it deserved them. Here's the mechanism, and it's the whole story. Most timing belts run dry, outside the engine, behind a cover. This one runs inside the engine, submerged in oil. That's not a mistake, that's the design. A belt in oil is quieter than a chain and has less friction, so it burns less fuel and passes the emissions test. The problem is what oil does to rubber over years. The belt doesn't snap, it sheds. Tiny particles come off it and go straight into the oil because they're already in the oil. They get drawn to the pickup strainer, the mesh sieve the oil pump sucks through, and they block it. And now you haven't got a belt problem, you've got an oil pressure problem and an engine starving itself. And the reason it kills some cars at 60,000 miles and never touches others is dilution. Short journeys, engine never properly warm, unburnt petrol washes past the rings into the sump, and the oil thins. Thin, fuel-contaminated oil is far harder on that belt, so the school-run car dies and the rep's car doesn't. Symptom, and this is the important bit if you own one, there often isn't a big warning. Sometimes a low oil pressure light, sometimes a rattle, sometimes it just stops. The brake. Vacuum pump runs off the same shaft, so a hard pedal has turned up too. If it goes and you're not covered, £3,000 to £6,000 on a car that might not be worth it. Now the honest half, and it's genuinely good news. Stellantis has extended the warranty on affected engines to up to 10 years or 112,000 miles, parts and labour, subject to service history. There's a compensation portal for owners who paid out between January 2022 and December 2024. And from 2023 they started phasing in a chain instead of a belt. Phasing, not a clean switch. Belt engines were still going into brand new cars after the chain version existed, particularly the non-hybrid petrols. So, it's a 2024 car, it'll be fine, isn't a safe assumption. Get the engine code before you buy, not after. $200 a year to tax on most of them. That warranty extension is one of the more decent things a manufacturer has done lately. And it still pays for the part, not for the 6 weeks. Quick favour before the top 3. If this is any use to you, give the like button a tap. Takes a second, costs you nothing, and it shoves this in front of somebody who's about to sign for the wrong motor this weekend. Cheers. Number 3. The Genesis GV60. Genesis is Hyundai's posh brand. The GV60 is its electric SUV. Fast, beautifully made, somewhere around £50,000. Concession. The driving experience is excellent, and the interior shames cars twice the price. Nobody's disputing that. Look it up on the gov.uk recall checker, and you'll find it there. One of them is the ICCU, the Integrated Charging Control Unit. Here's the mechanism, and it's the single most important thing to understand about any modern electric car. An EV still has an ordinary 12-volt battery because everything ordinary runs off 12 volts. Lights, screens, door locks, and the computers managing the big battery. There's no alternator. So one box steps the high voltage down to 12 and keeps it topped up. That box is the ICCU. It's the alternator's job in a different shape. When it fails, the big battery is completely fine and completely useless because the 12-volt side is now running on a battery nothing is charging, and a battery nothing is charging goes flat. Symptom, and owners report it consistently, a pop from the back of the car, then warnings, then it winds itself down over roughly 20 to 45 minutes of reduced power before it stops. Steering and brakes keep working, that matters, but you are going to stop. The recall work is free. What it costs you is a tow, then a wait, at a brand with a handful of dealers in the entire country, and the tax. From April 2026, the expensive car threshold for electrics went up to £50,000, which rescued a lot of mainstream EVs. But a GV60 sits right on that line. Over it, and you're paying $440 a year on top of the standard rate for 5 years. Get the list price including options, not the discounted price, because it's the list that counts. Free repair. 6 hours on the hard shoulder. That's the rule. Number 2. The Land Rover Discovery Sport. The most British car on this list, and the one people write to us most defensively about. Concession. It's superb at the thing it's for. Genuinely capable, properly comfortable, and if you tow or live up a farm track, it's hard to beat. Parts aren't the problem either. It shares an enormous amount with the rest of Jaguar Land Rover, and that lot sell in serious volume. And it sits at the bottom of the Honest John Index. Land Rover sits in the bottom 5 brands at What Car, and in the Warranty-Wise Index, built purely from repair records, the Discovery is the lowest scoring model of the lot. The mechanism worth knowing is the Ingenium diesel timing chain, and it's a lovely example of a good idea going wrong. A chain runs in oil. That's the entire design, and it's exactly why it should outlast a belt. When one fails early, it's almost never the chain. It's the oil, thin, old or low. Short trips dilute it with fuel, long intervals age it. The guides wear, the tensioner gives up, and you get a rattle on the first cold start of the day. You know the noise. Damp morning, before the heater's done anything, a second or two of rattle, and it's gone. Plenty of people hear that for months and put it down to diesel being diesel. The sting is the layout. The chains sit at the back of the engine against the bulkhead. To reach them, the gearbox comes out. That's not a chain job, that's a strip down. And there's no UK recall for it. It's a known pattern, not an official campaign, so the cover you've got is your warranty and nothing else. Money. These list over 40,000, so that's 640 a year in road tax during years 2 to 6. 2,200 quid on top of everything else. Best equipped car here to survive the fault. Worst one to be without for a month. Right. Number 1. If you've stuck with me this far, do me a favour and subscribe before I get to it, because number 1 is the one nobody sees coming. Number 1. The Volkswagen Tiguan. The new one, Mark III, on sale since 2024. And it's number 1 because of what it is, not just how it scored. This is the default. This is the sensible choice. This is the car people buy specifically so they don't have to think about it. Volkswagen, family SUV, 3 years of not worrying. In the What Car? Reliability survey, the 2024 Tiguan came out as the second most unreliable car in the entire survey, out of 227 models. Concession, and it's a real one. It's a brand new generation. Everything on this list says the same. First-year cars of a fresh design are where the trouble lives, and Volkswagen will sort a lot of it. The Tiguan in 3 years will likely be a different proposition. That's not much comfort if you're signing this month. And the mechanism isn't one part, which is exactly why it belongs at number 1. It's the switch to a car defined by software. Heating, wipers, drive modes and seats all living behind one screen and one set of code. When a knob fails, you lose the knob. When the software stack has a bad day, you lose the heating, the demist, the radio, and the reversing camera at once, and there's no backup switch because they deleted it. Symptom: a screen that reboots on a cold start then works fine all day. Climate that won't respond. And the fix is a software update, which means a booking, which means a day off. That's the whole video in one car. Nobody's paying a bill. Everybody's losing days. Money. Base cars sit under 40 grand. R-Line and up don't. Over the line and it's 640 a year for 5 years. On a family SUV, the trim level decides your tax bill more than the engine does. A warranty pays for the part. It never pays for your time, and the safest badge in Britain is currently proving it. Right, quick run back. 7. Lexus LBX, the best brand in Britain, undone by a flat 12 volts. 6. Vauxhall Corsa, bottom of the satisfaction index and the fault that won't happen while anyone's watching. 5. Nissan Juke, last in its class and the shortest warranty of the lot. 4. Peugeot 3008, a belt that dissolves into the oil pump, still fitted after the fix existed. 3. Genesis G560, a big healthy battery and nothing charging the little one. 2. Land Rover Discovery Sport, a rattle at the back of the engine and the gearbox out to reach it. 1. Volkswagen Tiguan, the sensible choice, second worst in the survey. Honest takeaway, and it's 3 things. First, never buy the first year of a new generation if you can help it. Every survey says the same. A fresh design is where the faults are, and 18 months later, it's a different car. Second, specific to brand new cars right now, ask whether it's been pre-registered. There's a real chance a car described as new has already been registered by the dealer to hit a target, which makes you the second owner and means your warranty clock started months ago. Look at the V5C. First registration date, number of previous keepers. 30 seconds. Third, before you sign, run the registration through the DVSA recall checker on gov.uk and check the list price against the £40,000 line, 50 for an electric, because that supplement is £440 a year for 5 years, and it follows the car, not the owner. And I'll say this carefully, because I'm not telling you there's a scheme. It's quieter and simpler than any conspiracy. Nobody hid the fact that a warranty covers the part and not the 6 weeks. There was just never any profit in mentioning it, so nobody did, and the knowledge grew over like a footpath. Nobody walks. Nobody in that showroom is paid to ask whether you should buy the car. They're paid for the payment to fit in the box on the form. You're not daft for missing it. You are answering the question you were asked. Right, over to you, and give me something specific rather than an opinion. If you've got any car on this list, what is it? How many miles? And what does it actually cost you? In money and in days off the road? Days off the road is the one nobody ever posts, and it's the one that would help everybody reading. And if we've got something wrong, say so plainly in the comments and we'll pick it up. There's a card up on screen now with another one of these. Have a look, it's worth your time. Buy with your head, not the badge. This video is based on publicly available recall notices, MOT test data, safety ratings, reliability surveys, and independent review evidence current at time of publication. Individual vehicle outcomes vary. Some models may have had subsequent updates, recalls, or improvements. Always obtain current information and independent advice before making any purchase decision,